Hi, I'm Heyzeus, and this video is going to be about the Cobblestone Souvenir Package and whether it's going to go up in price now that the map has been removed from the active map pool. Before I start, I'm giving away this flip knife black laminate. Check the link in the description below if you want to enter. Otherwise, we'll get back to this overpriced, overrated package. Obviously, cobble packages are incredibly popular. People pay exorbitant prices for the delusion that they might get an Orb Dragon lore. Although it does seem to bring in the YouTube views, but I can't afford them, so I'm losing out there. But anyway, now that there aren't going to be any new cases produced, it raises the question of whether or not they're going to go up in price beyond their sort of long run equilibrium price at the moment. Typically when cobble cases are dropped during a major, they hover around $25 to $30 while the event is happening. They fall a little bit in the months afterwards and then gradually climb back towards $40, which is the long-term price these capsules generally end up settling at. The only exceptions are some of the really old ones like Cologne 2014 and DreamHack 2014, and Columbus, which I think had much lower souvenir drop rates. I think that's why they cost more here. Since we won't be seeing Cobblestone Souvenir packages at the next couple of majors, there is, however, the serious prospect that the long-term price of $40 might be breached for a lot of these other capsules, and in a year or so's time, they might be worth quite a bit more. So, to begin, we'll look at what's happened to other capsules that have gone through similar events in the past. First up, we've got the Dust 2 capsule, obviously the last map to be brought back to the active duty map pool. If we look at the price history of the most recent 3 capsules to be dropped at majors, you can see that they have gone up since the discontinuement. Now, the increase has been slow and fairly erratic, and unless you got an Atlanta capsule which had quite a low price when the map was removed, the return you've seen probably isn't worth your time, but nonetheless, it has gone up. Now, Dust 2 was removed to initially make room for Inferno. Inferno was removed on April 22, 2016, and it certainly generated very distinct price spikes as people rushed to get the souvenir capsules now that they wouldn't be dropping anymore. Nonetheless, the Inferno collection doesn't seem to have really gone anywhere while it was off rotation. If you had invested in it, and I almost did back in the day actually, it was probably a complete waste of time. I suspect the reason for this different outcome is that the Dust 2 collection is a far more diverse and interesting collection than the Inferno collection, and having this nice range of skins probably meant that people were more willing to pay high prices to open one of those capsules. This would bode well for the Cobblestone collection, however, because the Cobblestone collection has a whole bunch of really highly desirable skins, and even if the odds of getting them are minuscule, at least there is an incentive to try and open them. So that brings us to our final discontinued souvenir package, Nuke, which was removed after ESL 1 Katowice 2015. And if we look at the price history of these particular items, you can see that they've done very, very well after they've been removed. They were worth buying. This obviously isn't very surprising. The map was removed from active rotation while CSGO was still in its initial growth phase. In addition, the map wasn't played very much either, so the supply of these capsules was always going to be fairly limited. And these are factors that obviously don't extrapolate to the Cobblestone case. The Cobblestone case has been discontinued in a period where, at least in the short term, the player base has been falling. The map was always played quite a lot, so there's going to be a lot of these capsules around. So this is an outlier. We can't really use it and apply it to the Cobblestone case. Nonetheless, considering all 3 of these examples as a whole, there is at least a precedent for thinking that Cobblestone cases could go up in value. Nonetheless, we need to look at some of the specifics surrounding this particular capsule. Considering the demand side of the equation, we know there is a lot of demand for this capsule. Its price stabilizes at about $40, which is miles more than any other souvenir capsule. That doesn't necessarily mean the capsule is going to do well though now that it's been discontinued, because obviously that extra demand is already factored into its price. So instead we'll look at how many of these things are floating around. As you can see from the last 4 majors, there's approximately 1,700 of these things listed. There would undoubtedly be some, in people's inventories as investments, but the numbers wouldn't be huge. I don't think it'd be like stickers, for example. What does bode quite well here, at least in my view though, is the relatively high rate of daily turnover. As you can see, Boston moves about 35 units a day, and you can also see how the supply from each successive major has been run down over time. The further back you go, the less capsules there are. And this suggests to me that the market really relies on each successive major to restock. So if that supply is cut off, it's quite possible the price could push up well above $40. So taking this as a whole, we've got a popular capsule with really nice stuff in it, which from time to time YouTubers will blow thousands of dollars on to create these painful to watch unboxing videos, with a fairly limited supply that seems to be run down fairly effectively over time. Keeping all of that in mind, I'm now going to explain why I personally won't be touching this item with a 10-foot pole. First of all, I think the time period you'd have to hold this for is too long. I don't really like having to hold items for a year or so, which is what I think you'd have to hold this for to see a good return, if you even do see a good return. We're not at the point anymore where you can expect the overall growth of the game to provide upwards price pressure anyway, so I'm very cautious about holding things for too long in this current economy. Secondly, I think we may see something similar here to what we saw with the Dust 2 package. If you bought an Atlanta one when the price was quite low, you made a good amount of money. But if you bought one of the older souvenir packages, which had already sort of reached their equilibrium point at $4, the return itself was quite minimal. It was only about 20-25%. I suspect the Cobblestone packages may do something similar. They might go up from about $40 to $50, but unless you bought one of the Boston packages back when they were $25, that's not really worth your time for the period of investment that we're talking about. And obviously, Boston Cobblestone souvenirs are already almost at the $40 mark, so I don't know if there's going to be a return worth my time anyway. Finally, I'm also concerned about how well the market might support items like these in the future. This particular tweet by Roffle should illustrate the point quite well. With some of the changes Valve has been making to trading, they've been cramping down on gambling, the sort of buyers who used to purchase this simply might not be there in the future, and if it isn't, the price of the souvenir or Dragon Lore is going to fall, which in turn is going to mean less demand for the Cobblestone package. So in any case, my closing note will be that I often get asked by people what they should invest in, and a lot of the time I have to respond, well, there aren't really any great investments at the moment. Investments tend to be fairly seasonal, and I don't mean that as a criticism of the people who ask me that. The only way you're going to find out is by asking, but often there aren't any good options. And this is an investment option. If people ask me what the best thing to invest in Counter-Strike at the moment is, I'd probably say this, but personally, I wouldn't put my time or money into it. If you feel otherwise though, it's your money, your decision, your prerogative, go for it. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Also, don't forget about the giveaway. I also promised to do a credits giveaway for levels.gg, a really awesome site that lets you level up your Steam account quick and easily, which is sponsoring me, and you can use the referral code Heyzeus for a 33% bonus to the number of sets you get. I've been a little bit slack and I haven't drawn that. I will for the next video I do, I promise. It's just been unwell and things have been busy. Otherwise though, trust the numbers, not your gut. I'm Heyzeus. Thanks for watching. See ya.